Fisher. I live at 825 Thomas Road. I'd like to talk to you about trust. There was a time when a group of citizens in this community came together to try to build trust that had not existed by the citizens with this group of trustees, or previous trustees. And we worked together with community leaders to come up with a bond program and convinced the voters overwhelmingly to give us almost $400 million in trust. This group who said we were going to provide oversight, which we did not and were not permitted, not adequate. I am very concerned about a lack of attention to detail. I recently got this in the mail. How can you have a copy editor miss a typographical error by an entire year on registration? Where is the lack of attention to detail? What is going on? Our students would not be permitted to hand in papers on that. Here we say the bond program wraps up. Ahead of schedule? You got to be kidding me. We're not ahead of schedule. We're entering the 9th month past the original contract with Parsons. We're more than 9 months past schedule. And I toured 2 facilities that aren't even built yet. And that brings up another thing. I've been here before. I've talked to you specifically about the lack of an adequate facility and adequate funding for the Westbrook Fieldhouse. I toured it today. My worst fears are coming to reality. If it rains tonight, you will lose a large amount of sheetrock. There is not a roof over that entire area. The locker room is substandard in comparison to the other 2 high schools. And there's not enough shower facilities on a per capita for those young men that are going to use that. It's going to be crowded on day 1. It's less crowded because adjustments were made, but it's going to be crowded. In our bond, we had 6 principles. One was eliminate overcrowding. We have failed. We have not eliminated overcrowding. We'll have a crowded locker room at the Westbrook facility. We also said there would be equal quality facilities across the district. That is not going to happen with that facility. I want to talk about the oversight of the CABC. This was a sham. I brought it to the attention multiple times of potential poor workmanship by people that work contractors for this district in that bond program. Multiple times I brought up issues of overbilling and overcharging. And here we have Mr. Walker, who absolutely overcharged and overbilled. And we rehired him. Tell me what program you have to institute new controls that's going to make sure that doesn't happen again. Tell me why, when the U.S. Attorney offers you restitution and ability to recover money that is not yours, that is the taxpayers, that on the behalf of the taxpayers you don't ask for that money. I'm ashamed of the actions of this board. And I'm ashamed as a voter, I'm ashamed as a member of the CABC. I put my heart and soul into that to make sure it happened. Lastly, I'd like to talk about one other item. Tonight you're going to have a suggestion that somehow you can appoint people for a term longer than 4 years as a trustee. Let me tell you, don't do that. Stand for election in 13 or 15 when your term ends. Do not disrespect the voters.
Reverend Lewis Vaughn, 9615 Lakers. 2 comments initially to you, Dr. Thomas. First of all, thank you. Secondly, you kept your promise. In the beginning of your tenure, we met as a community over at the then Westbrook 9th grade center, previously or formerly Hebert High School, and presently Ozan High School. At that meeting, you presented a plan, neighborhood school. I stood, and I certainly didn't want that. And you said that you wanted us to have neighborhood schools. My experience of neighborhood schools had to do a lot with my mother as president of the PTA at Oldham. When she had to go to South Park, Old South Park, that's the district we were in, and she had to stand at the back door to give them a note for us to have something at Oldham. And she had to stand there all day, and they opened the door when they decided to open the door. And if they decided not to open the door wasn't open. And for a whole month, we wouldn't have anything. Not desks and chairs. I'm talking about toilet tissue. I'm talking about paper towels. Just necessities. And I did talk about that night about Hebert how it had deteriorated. But you didn't see that, and you said, well, I don't believe, I can't see that. I didn't know that happened here, because you said Westbrook 9th grade center. And then we went on to talk about that, and your plans for neighborhood school, and you promised. You said, if you would give me the time, just give me the time, and your support, I'll make this community proud of everything that we do here. I'll make this school, because we were talking about Ozan at that time, which was the 9th grade center, that it was going to be a school of state of the art. Well, tonight, I stand, and I stand proud. And I'll say to you, Dr. Thomas, not only thank you, but you kept your promise. Because when I look around in this district, and I'm happy, I have a wife who's working here in the district. I have a daughter that's working here in the district. She's an engineer, and she decided, no, I want to teach. And I want to go back and teach children that from the school that I came from. I'm proud tonight to stand and say thank you. I'm proud tonight to say, Dr. Thomas, you kept your promise. As a minister, I read in the Bible, it says, give honor where honor is due. And tonight, you do honor. President Reese, excuse me, but I want that everybody under the sound of my voice right now would stand to your feet, and you give Dr. Thomas a hand